Good Thursday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel that talks about all my cars and trucks and motorcycles and SUVs, the dogs, the campers, the attitudes. Hey, good Thursday morning there with all those that tune in my channel on a regular basis, watch me gab away in the morning to get the day going. And as always, thanks so much for being a supporter of my channel, sharing the channel, sharing the antics, participating. And here it is, Thursday already, another week passing by. So is life, right? And beautiful day though. Look, not a cloud in the sky, and just really beautiful time of year. Not too hot yet. It's going to get hotter this afternoon, but just overall, just a really nice time of the year, where all the foliage has finally come in, the greenery, the change of scenery. And as always, we have topics to talk about, things to think about, and what do we talk about? As we venture over here to the new campground, my new Roughing It campsite over here. Isn't it brutal? Got my awning out, and the Kiefer's already run into the screen door and damaged it. There's a project for me to take apart the screen door. That happened this morning. Oh, it just doesn't end. With the Kiefer dog, the kid cleaned up the F450 last night. I played with the Honda Goldwing. And the driveway is full as usual with all the Fords. Some people reach out and go, you should just sell a lot of these other vehicles and get a Lambo or a Porsche. Yeah, true. But you know what? I like what I got. I'm good. I know I can do those things. So anyways, what are we doing? Besides getting the dogs in the office to just kind of keep that under moderation. So you think about the week that we've had. Monday was the media conversation. Tuesday was a notification conversation. Wednesday was the annoying conversations. And so I thought to myself, keeping the theme with the word of the day, which once again, those that watch my channel kind of know, I take one word and I try to use that in the cars and trucks and motorcycles, the life, the state of times. Come on, puppy! Ginger! And so I thought, what better? No, you ain't doing that. What better way to start a day like this dog right here in a stubborn way? Ginger! So, yeah, is he stubborn? Yeah, our dog's stubborn, us humans. So I thought, yeah, the perfect word of the day. But how do we take stubborn, in a physical sense, material thing, and talk about that? And here we go. Here's Kiefer wanting to harass little Ginger, the prey. See, it just doesn't end. Doesn't end. So, look, here it is. Kiefer wants to make it his little plaything. Come on, Ginger, let's go. Come on, get in. Nope, Kiefer. It just doesn't end, man. The girl and the boy. Is it like real life? Relationships? Yeah, don't touch me, the woman. Come on, Ginger. And you're not going up there. No, you're not going up. Nope. No, it's just too much aggravation. So, anyways, lights, camera, action. Always like to get the shop lit up to look at the eye candy. Is it the eye candy? So yeah, we take the stubborn. That's probably a little challenging. How do we take the stubborn? Our cars. I mean, in so many ways, yes, I've owned vehicles that seem to be stubborn, and I'm sure some people will be like, yeah, but how do you kind of say a material thing is stubborn? Well, I think I could use my perfect example, I would have to say, but we're into that. I finally got motivated to put some Gold Strike accessories on my Honda Goldwing. Got my nice Gold Strike water bottle holder, nice cell phone holder. Really is quality stuff, good stuff. And there's other things I need to do to it, but it's just so much. I've done this so many times. To me, I tell you people all the time, I had a 2018 DCT Airbag Edition Goldwing. What do? I sell it. Only in the end, just to turn around and buy another one. Yeah, it just doesn't end, does it? The sense. Yeah, stubbornness. Yeah, Mr. Iceman, how stubborn are you? And yeah, who doesn't know stubborn people? Where we are, what's going on. Here's the Ford F-250 Platinum. It's a cool looking truck. Ride, not so much. Kid is challenging me otherwise. Trying to get my Ford past the link of this thing, and it just doesn't really, I don't know what's going on with that. That's kind of aggravating for me. And the kid last night, as I said just a moment ago, got all motivated. She got all motivated here this past week. Cleaned up the F450, the Ram 2500. She claims F450 is the nicest of them all. Sure is. I'm like, yeah, that's an expensive, really nice truck. A lot of people would love to have that truck. So anyways, on the stubborn side, I think through the files of all my cars, motorcycles, I mean, just trucks, everything. And you know what sticks out the most to me is the Toyota Tacoma. Yeah, the Toyota Tacoma, which I've had so many of those. Look at the bird leaving its whatever. Where's the non-flying bird? Yeah, the one bird got injured. It has to walk. Oh, I don't know where that thing's on. Something will get it eventually, I'm sure of that. So anyways, my Toyota Tacoma, I would say, was stubborn because it was so, the new V6 engine they put in those Tacomas is such a dog. I mean, it's like you have to go pedal to the metal to get it to move down the road. And don't get me wrong, I love the Toyota product. I like the Toyota Tacomas, but the last generation, the V6 motor sucked. And it just seemed like it was stubborn. You come off the line. I mean, I'm sorry, we got the Tacoma person. You know, you can reach out and say, "Oh, I'm like, nah, sorry, man, those motors suck." If you don't want to be stubborn for yourself to admit that how you have a Toyota Tacoma that the motor sucks, then you're just being stubborn because it sucks. Period. And I would have a V6 4Runner right next to it, which was the previous generation motor in the Tacoma, which they removed. Why? I don't know. That Toyota 4Runner's V6 motor was really a nice setup. Tacoma, it was stubborn. Here's Kiefer. He was going to that back door. It's like, that's weird. Like he knows what he did. He ran into it this morning and totally destroyed it. It's been pushed inside the door jamb. I'm going to have to take it all apart and only hope that he didn't bend it where it's fixable, because whatever happens to this trailer, for the record, 3 months. If anything major happened to this camper and I take it to Beckley's RV, they've already told me 3 months before they'd even get to it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, times are rough out there, everybody. Yeah, nobody's got jobs, man. It's just, oh my God. Yeah, right. Sure. Yeah, whatever. So anyways, so the Toyota Tacoma, in my view, had a very stubborn engine. I always talk about the Jeeps, the Jeep out there, and once again, take the stubborn part of the Jeep, you take the the walking part of it. I don't think you can really relate with that, but I think people would be more of the conversation this past week. It's the constant stubbornness of your car connecting to your devices. The constant infotainment center that you get in your car, and you want to Bluetooth your favorite music through the infotainment center, and it goes to the motorcycles and the cars, and so that's where it becomes stubborn. It just seems like your car has a personality that creates that aggravation because it doesn't want to connect, and it about drives you nuts. I'm sure everybody here that's listen to my channel all has the same story of a vehicle they have, and it seems like some vehicles are more stubborn than others on how the connectivity works on that. And then I could say, why does Ford engineers stubborn on having electric brake, e-brake come on? Why doesn't the Ford engineers that make these vehicles, why wouldn't they be more proactive of when you put the car in park, the e-brake just sets itself? Why the engineers stubborn on that? I mean, I'm sure many people can relate with the engineers that build things that about drive you nuts. I mean, if anybody's taking anything apart, oh my gosh, as well as I do, these engineers, it's like, did you ever actually try to take this apart and do it? Because it's very challenging, and it turns into an area trying to get into the motor or whatever it may be, and it's so stubborn, it's very challenging for you to get to a component, a bolt, a nut, a screw, the device, whatever it is, and it's a very stubborn, it's very challenging. And you just think, why do engineers do that? Are engineers just stubborn? They don't want to change their engineering tactics of being known for making you mad when you're trying to take apart something? There's a good old Super Bee just hanging out in the back 40. And we get to some flags out here. Throw some old refrigerators out in the back 40. Throw some old tires back there. Start getting the junk pile. I start to blend in with I guess I moved. You think I live somewhere else. Yeah. Don't take it the wrong way for those people who live in other parts of the country, right? And so, anyways, so it's all about, us being stubborn. And in fact, yesterday, a subscriber reached out and he said, it's kind of ironic. You're trashing Elon Musk. You're sharing how the EV market is 84% down, but you're calling Elon Musk out for dropping the whole crew that built out the Tesla supercharger infrastructure. And I was like, well, not totally. What I'm really calling out Elon Musk on is how he dupes people. Elon Musk is a master of duping people. And what I mean by that is he's no doubt in my mind, Elon Musk is strategizing how to get people to pay for the supercharging infrastructure that he doesn't want to foot the bill anymore. He's not going to tell you that. He's not that stupid. The guy is a very creative guy in how he extracts money from people. So he's obviously pulled back on the Tesla infrastructure of superchargers because it's costing him money. And he sees how a lot of other manufacturers are now toe-heeling to his new North American charging standard. And he knows that at the end of the day that he's going to get GM and Ford and other car manufacturers to start footing the bill to start putting these Tesla superchargers in. That's all that's going on. If anybody can't figure that out, you don't know Elon Musk. He just put everything on hold because it's obvious that the company is going through challenging times because the EV market is very stubborn. Yeah. So there's the word of the day that really follows with really what's going on more than ever that we're seeing is people are stubborn to the EV change. It's going on because all you're hearing about is Ford is 84% down their EV sales. You're hearing Tesla, they're down in their EV sales. China is down their EV sales. So you're hearing that people are now stubborn. I guess you could say we've crossed the threshold of the people that weren't stubborn to the change of green technology to now they've met the stubborn people. And that's just how life is. You're going to have a certain percentage of people that are more open-minded to some change, but then you're going to have a majority of people that aren't open to the change, and then they become the stubborn ones. So Elon Musk and Ford and the BYD, they now have a stubborn customer base that they're trying to extract to come over to the EV side. But the ICE people are shaking their heads and going, no, we don't see what you see. And so for Elon Musk and others, they're now starting to take the hit of the infrastructure they've built out that isn't really satisfying the demand because of the stubbornness of the change. I mean, and if you don't agree with that, I mean, I don't know anybody watching my channel right now. If you don't see through what's going on now more than ever that the stubborn people are starting to voice their opinion, but they don't even have to voice it. It's just showing up on how the electric vehicle market isn't taking off like everybody thought it would. So, excuse me, let's either turn the phone off and have to make 2 videos or just sneeze off of you. So sorry for the sneeze there, but it's the pollen, everything floating around the air. It's irritating my nose. And Kiefer's anxiously wanting to go upstairs to hang out with his brother and sister and just harass them, right? Yeah, is he stubborn? Yeah. You better believe that. So anyways, wow beyond wow is the word for the green agenda because I think the day of reckoning is beginning for the EV agenda. And don't get me wrong, I've said it a gazillion times. I don't see the EV agenda going away. I don't see electric vehicles going away. I think it's going to be the stubbornness is going to slow it down. The stubbornness is going to probably make it so it doesn't transition as quickly as they want it to, even to the point that General Motors Cadillac division, the vice president, is talking sense. He's saying have the choice. We need to continue to build ICE vehicles, and we need to give the consumers the choice of what flavor they want. And I'm sure everybody here on my channel would say 100% accurate, hey, manufacturers, build the EV vehicles for those that want those, but continue to build the ICE for those that want those as well. And thank goodness the stubbornness of so many ICE people is going to maybe force the hand where things start getting pushed further down the road of all these strict mandates, and that the manufacturers come to realize that, hey, us having choices is going to appease to the customer base and keep us in business, instead of us forcing the hand and dealing with the stubbornness of others that's not going to make us the money anymore, and we may be out of business. I mean, sincerely, that's kind of what can start to play out if you're in business. And that's a challenge in life. If you're in your own business, if you work for somebody, it's a stubbornness of accepting what's real versus what isn't. And when the money just doesn't come in anymore, do you just finally raise your hand and accept that it's over? But for some reason, the governing bodies don't operate that way. The governing bodies seem to be so stubborn in their ways that the continual printing of money, the never-ending positions of certain political powers that force the hand, but yet the people are stubborn to their ways and views and ideas and ideology, but they don't want to hear it. So they just continue to push the needle and push the thread that just in turn makes people even more stubborn. I mean, think about it. If you're an individual where somebody does something that you didn't agree to, are you going to be more stubborn or less? I can promise you, if you're a married man, you know this story. You know this story very well. If you go out and do something your wife didn't approve of because she was stubborn to your idea, and you think that's going to pass over, then you're probably divorced. I mean, it doesn't work that way. But yet the guiding powers to be in our country seem to act that way and expect you and I then just to cave and just blow it over and not a big deal. It's very aggravating, very annoying. It's the media machine that continues to thread all of this agenda that for most of us here see through the light and say, but it ain't so. It's not so. And once again, I think that Elon Musk comes up in these conversations because Elon Musk is the driving guy that really created the Tesla EV agendas like never seen in our country. I mean, come on. When you think of EV vehicle for this country, what's the first thing that pops in your head? It's going to be Tesla, Elon Musk. Are you really going to tell me it's going to be BYD, build your dream, out of China? No way. You're not going to say that. Is it going to be BMW? No, you're not going to say that. You're going to say it's Tesla, Elon Musk. So he is at the forefront. He's the richest guy in the world. So for anybody on my channel that thinks I'm attacking the guy, I'm not attacking the guy. I'm sharing information that is so blatant of how Elon Musk gets away and does things and gets his way, even though so many are stubborn to it. And I mean, to me, when you read the stories of what just happened, it's just befuddling of what he just did. So even college interns have been given notice they're not working this summer. Yes, that's a fact. So typically, Tesla brings in about 3,000 college interns per summer to work at their different divisions of his companies. And a lot of college students have just gotten notice that little heyday ride this summer of them hanging out with Tesla and being in the coolest company in the world, per se, in many views and eyes of others, it's been canceled. And just as I told you yesterday, 500 plus employees have been eliminated because of the Tesla supercharger infrastructure has been shut down for the expansion. Even though Elon Musk is now backtracking and saying, well, we're not shutting down the infrastructure of building out more superchargers. We're just slowing it down and we're going to revamp what we already have, which I can understand that. And it's just common business sense. But I've already told you that what his really underlying goal is to get others to come to the table and pay for his ongoing expansion of building his infrastructure of the Tesla supercharger. If you don't see that, somebody prove me wrong. You really think that view of what I just told you is wrong? Are you that stubborn to want to look at things, understand how Elon Musk uses other people's money? I mean, it's beyond unbelievable. And that's the challenge that we live in. The challenge we live in our world is these cars are a perfect example of our stubbornness. Because like my good friend Chris, who actually, congratulations there to Chris and Shannon on their new Buick SUV they just bought. So Chris finally got out of his Jeep Wrangler Sahara that his wife commutes, and it just isn't the most economical, comfortable vehicle to be climbing out of. So he finally pulled off buying a Buick SUV really, pretty color and all. So he's excited about that. But for him, his position is, I'll never buy a Ford. He doesn't like Ford. I was telling him, why don't you get your wife a nice Ford Bronco? He's like, no way. There's no way. We hate those things. I'm like, really? He's like, the only thing I'd maybe buy is an F450. Otherwise, for the Ford, there's no way. So his stubbornness is, I said, go drive a Bronco. He's like, no way. I'm not going to do it. Go drive this. Nope, not going to do it. Nope. So his position is, no way. So that happens. It's a huge thing in the car community where people will go to a car meet, go to a car show. You have friends. I've been on car forums, and you'll have the guy that owns a Ram truck will never, ever own a Chevy. You got the guy that owns a Chevy truck will never own a Ram truck. You got the guy that owns a Ford truck that'll never own a Ram. I mean, it goes full circle. And the same thing goes down the line with the cars. And then the stubbornness of like Harley. You know how many people out there would say, I'll never buy a Harley? Those things are junk. But then you'll have a guy that has a Honda Goldwing, and he'll be right on the same page. Like, I'm never getting rid of my Honda Goldwing. This is the best damn thing you could ever own. So in his position, you could look at him as being stubborn because would you buy a Kawasaki? No way. Would you buy a Harley? No way. Try it. So we all have these perceptions. We all have these emotions, these feelings, and then that comes to a stubbornness, that you're stubborn to change, that you don't want to change. And once again, I think that's a huge challenge in mankind and society, because when you put it in the social media, the political parties, it turns into stubbornness. You don't want to hear it. You don't, even though in my view, the Ford Bronco is a better overall package than the Jeep Wrangler, but the Jeep Wrangler guy that loves his Jeep Wrangler, he doesn't want to hear it. So he'd be like, nah, no way. But I'll be like, but the Ford Bronco is more powerful. The Ford Bronco, for value, to what you get, is a better value. The Ford Bronco, the way it rides, is a better vehicle. The Ford, blah, 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 blah. But the guy that's the Jeep guy would be like, nope, no way. Ford sucks. I don't want anything to do with it. Then I go down to the Ford Raptor. The Ford Raptor versus the Ram TRX. And here's the thing. I mean, how many people on the YouTube channels out there have access to the vehicles that I have, between the cars, the motorcycles, the trucks? I mean, sincerely, that I can tell people in a very sincere way of what is fun and what isn't fun, or what seems to be better and what isn't so better. And I mean, sincerely, and without me being paid by an advertising manufacturer, or by me just driving to a car dealership. And here's the thing. You don't get a real deal world of going and test driving a car. So any guy who does a test drive car review of a vehicle, I'm sorry. In the real world, this isn't really the reality of what you did, because it's long-term ownership of vehicles that you get to know the personalities and the stubbornness of the vehicle. So for me to go to a dealership today and do a car review on a vehicle and drive it around for 30, 40 minutes and then tell you all the pretty things, and that's what these successful car review people do, is they'll spend time and they'll go over every fine detail, every little aspect of the car. I doubt you can remember everything they tell you, the horsepower, the torque, miles per gallon, the size engine, the wheel motors. You can go through the list of all the accessories. Just, do you have a package 1, package 2, or package 3? I mean, it's infinite on all the variables of all the different things you can do with these cars. And that's, just like the Ram truck. You have a 1, a 2, a 3. Which series do you have? How is it packaged out? So the point is, for the guys going to test drive these things, it's not real world. I own these things, and I get a chance to interact with them, and then I can tell you over the long term, what makes sense, what doesn't. This F450 over here, I don't like this truck. Why I don't like it? Because it beats the crap out of you. But you can take it a test drive around the block on a really smooth highway, and you're going to be like, man, Iceman, you really don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, where'd you drive it? Well, I drove it on the open highway. Well, all the highway is pretty much a newer highway. So I was able, did you drive in the back roads? Did you drive over the bumpy roads? Did you trailer with it? What did you do? What did you do with that truck? No, I didn't do any of that, Iceman. Well, then you don't know what you're talking about, because once you trailer with this truck, you're going to find out that truck beats the crap out of you. Once you trailer this truck and you're going down a highway that has the concrete strips where you go clunk, 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 clunk. Yeah, you're gonna start to find out. Holy crap, that truck will kick your ass. It'll kick your ass. I've driven it. I know. So I know what its personality is. Cool looking truck, nice truck. But for the stubborn person, they'll be like, yeah, but I only paid X amount of dollars for that. But you got the F450 4-door. Yeah, that's really the only way to go, man. Sorry to tell you this. Yeah, you got to come up with the cash. Got to come up to the table to play. But that's the real truck. That's the real tow truck. That's the real over-the-road truck. That doesn't beat the crap out of you. But once again, a guy jumps in a car, drives it up the road for 30 minutes, comes back and tells you how great it is. No, not so much. That's a perfect example of where we are in life. You'll get a political figure that'll tell you how great everything's going to be, but never actually does really the things play out in front of them until they've been elected. And then the person's been elected, and then the change begins to happen, and then over time, you get to see that what was told to you isn't really the best of what you thought it would be. And the stubbornness will be, you won't accept that you made the wrong decision. And that's where we are in this country more than ever. More than ever. We are in a country of bad decisions, bad leadership, and it's been unbelievable, the stubbornness of this country, of people that will just say, well, this is the color I am, and that's the way it is. But the color you are is wrong. You're not listening to what's going on. You're just stuck and you're stubborn beyond stubbornness like never seen in this country, that you're letting others destroy it. I mean, sincerely. But yet there'll be an argument of, oh, you're demented. Oh, your views, your ideology, your way of thinking. Oh my gosh. So this is classic. On X, it's a very dominant blue posters. Very dominant. And the blue posters are constantly belittling the red posters. The blue posters' main theme on X is that if you're red, you're incompetent. I mean, it really is. So I love when I see the blue poster that never ends runs their mouth. And you know what happens is, on X, if you post just really demeaning and belligerent things, you're going to make money because people do the bait. It's the clickbait. You then get involved arguing with this person that just loves how you're arguing with them because they're getting paid by you arguing with them. And people don't understand this stuff on X. When you start interacting with people that are just truly just stubborn as all get out, you're just catering to their making money off of you. And why people play this game, so I don't click on it. I'll see the highlighted, but I won't click on that guy's conversation because there's so many out there, but I love it. Here is a guy on X that runs his mouth all day long, and I'm just got to pull up my notes here. So there's a guy that runs his mouth all the time. And this is what cracks me up. This here is this blue guy is mouthing off since for the record, since Mr. Biden came into office, the big companies have made record profits. I have talked about this numerous times. But yet the blues will tell you that the reds enrich big business. But yet the blues elected the blue guy, not the red man, the blue guy, and the blue guy has helped enrich companies like never ever seen, which just means that you're paying more money for everything around you. Everything. So record profits. And here's this blue guy mouthing off about how it's so unfair all these companies have made all this money. But yet this blue guy was telling me back when the red guy was in that the red guy supports big business and the red guy enriches all big business. Does anybody remember these conversations? Yeah, yes. But the stubbornness of the country and the divisions of who we are, it's at an all-time high. Because for most people, they see and how things have not been for the better. They're not been for the better. And everybody's paying more and more and more. And then my good friend Charles out there in Oregon, he throws out his views and ideas and comments. And it's crazy on how they're seeing snow. But he's at the 5,000 foot elevation out there in Oregon. So I get that then. I didn't think that through. But he was telling me how their season is September through like May of snow. Now, he grew up here in the Virginia Woodbridge area, and he moved out to California many, many years ago. So he really likes my channel because it reminds him of being back on the East Coast, and it kind of connects the dots of being when he was growing up here. So that's really cool. And he interacts. But he shares with me what I just said to you about how things aren't better. Things really aren't that great. Things are challenging. And it seems like on the West Coast, that's very challenging. Now, here's Fed Jerome Powell, telling everybody, things are okay. Things are all right. It's going to be okay. Don't you love this stuff? It's going to be okay. So, okay, we've raised interest rates to the roof. Everything's more expensive. It's going to be okay. So what intrigues me about this stubbornness is this. There's a little birdie diary here or something. I don't know what this is. Nope. That's something else. Yeah. Hey, Keith, what are you up to, right? Hey, he's being good. He's just kind of like chilling out. Thank God. I need that. So the stubbornness is when you step back and you look at where we are today. So think this through. If the red was in control, you'd hear non-ending, never-ending. The red guy got us into 3 wars, or 2 wars, however you want to look at it. So yes, you'd hear the never-ending and how the red guy has gotten us into world wars. That's all you'd hear, right? I mean, come on. But you don't really hear much about that on the blue guy. The media doesn't really seem to really hammer on that much. It just kind of seems to be, I say, whatever, just go do something else. So the red guy, if the red guy was in charge, you'd definitely be hearing about all these protests at these universities, that the red guy spurred all this stuff big time because of his participation over there in the Middle East. Oh, you'd be hearing that the violence in the streets. Here we go. Here we go. 2020, the summer of love. It's all starting all over again. If the red guy was in charge, and it would be beyond believable how much the media machine would be hammering the hell out of. They would be forcing the red guy to get in front of the podium and start explaining what the hell's going on. Come on, right? Right. The blue guy, yeah, he's out eating ice cream. Or he's up there in Pennsylvania trying to get the people at Sheetz to all congregate around him as he goes in to buy a coffee in his limo, and he doesn't even buy the gas. You and I pay for the gas he rides around in, but whatever. So the red guy, okay, so then you go, here are the stubbornness. Here's the stubbornness. So the blue doesn't want to accept of what they've created. The blue talked about how the red guy put us in wars if you reelected him. The blue talked about how the red guy would have the violence at an all-time high in this country if he was in power. The blue have talked about how the red guy would enrich the big business like never seen at record profits, and the consumers would pay dearly. Huh. Wow. If you're a blue individual, reach out to me, and don't take it the wrong way. I mean, I'm just sharing with you, it's called being stubborn. It's stubborn. You don't want to look at the facts, what's going on. Sincerely, you don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it. And that's where the stubbornness creates the demise of our society and country. It's because the stubbornness of others, they don't want to raise their hand and say, okay, I see it, I get it, I was wrong. In marriage, oh my gosh, in a marriage, if you're a husband and you can't apologize, or a wife, and you can't say I was wrong, your marriage isn't going to last. But for some reason, the governing bodies of this country, they don't give 2 craps ass. They don't care. And they just want to get you riled up to go fight against the blue guy and the red guy. Hey, kid, how are you? Good. How's your truck?
I'm in love.
Which is your favorite one? Wow.
I'm a diesel girl.
She's a diesel girl if you're watching my channel. There, yeah. Yeah, did she get stubborn on it? So just for the record, she has nothing to do with this EV stuff. Nothing to do with it. One of my subscribers, which is a cool guy, he's always reaching out that he thinks my daughter should get a live wire. No way. She won't do it. I've had these conversations. Another one of my subscribers out there thinks she should be on a road glide or a street glide. And she just doesn't want to do it. I mean, for the most part, she just is happy with what she has, and she's not excited about the EV agenda. She's not excited about a different, really, motorcycle. She's content. So is there stubbornness there? Yes. If you watch my channel, you'll see on how I got that blue Vapor GT down there. and I was going to get rid of her white GT, and she was stubborn as all get out that she didn't want that to happen. But in the end, I pushed through the stubbornness, and now what is her favorite vehicle? The car side versus that Mustang GT. She didn't want that F-250 Tremor truck to go away. She was very stubborn about that. She really wanted me to reverse the deal. But in the end, guess who loves this Ford F-250 Platinum? She does. So to work through the stubbornness, can we work through it? And where we are in today's governing bodies and political times and world affairs, can those that are incredibly stubborn see the light and have a different view and understand that the views they have, that things are not getting better, that things are not in order? I mean, come on. Is anybody here, hearing this? And, you know, for some out there, this may be a piss off conversation. But you know what? Sorry. I'm sorry if you're too stubborn to accept that the political powers that be in our country have serious challenges. And the people of the country need to start standing up and telling these political powers to be that you just don't get away with whatever you want to do. Look at Mike Johnson. I talked about Mike Johnson from day one being replaced from Kevin McCarthy by Matt Gaetz. That what's that going to accomplish? Do you really think this guy, Mike Johnson, is going to come to the table and be able to put things in order? There's no way. There's no way. I was like, so for Matt Gaetz, I was like, what do you accomplish out of taking Kevin McCarthy? And sure, at the end of the day, so everybody knows that these protests at these universities is because just 2 weeks ago, they passed the Ukrainian and Israel aid bill to give more money to go fight wars, which has now raised the hairs on the back of the Palestinian community more than ever in this country that are protesting this country to continue to supply warfare for a war. And so, how radical does it get? But once again, the media machine is not going after Joe Biden personally. Now, you know as well as I do, if the red guy was in office, they would be attacking him like you've never seen. The media machine. And so, I think a lot of people here know that what's going to be so, we're in an election year, and you know as well as I do. If it flips from blue to red, oh my gosh, the media machine is going to get so cranked up, and it's going to be the never ending of what we witnessed from 2016 to 2020 of the media just, was it the worst? Was it the worst? The worst. But now the media machine has really tamed down in so many ways, but I can promise you, you all know, and I know there's some people out there who kind of wish there was a different political party as a leader to be running on the red, but I can just tell you straight up, it won't matter. Whoever would go into office red, the media machine's going to tear them apart. And it's going to turn into the stubbornness of others not understanding that they're just supporting the demise of America. Sincerely. And people are like, that's radical. Okay, well, things don't just happen overnight. And that's the challenge of stubbornness, is how long will you continue to be stubborn? And that's what we witness. It's in relationships. It takes years and years for relationships to finally be deteriorated to nothing, to divorce, from the stubbornness between two individuals. So it just doesn't happen overnight. It takes years and years as you working for somebody of constantly feeling like your employer doesn't treat you fairly, and then being stubborn on what you feel is right and wrong until eventually you're like, I'm done, I'm out. So in stubbornness, sadly, it just doesn't play out in one day. Stubbornness is something that's in families. Oh my gosh, my brother, you really have to tell him what, you have to like reverse psychology as my brother, because whatever your idea isn't his idea. You think I'm making that up? Oh my gosh. So it's borderline, you have to think like, well, I'll think like this and tell him I want to do this that I really don't want to do, but then he'll challenge it and do what I really want to do. If you don't think that goes on, so if anybody has a brother, sister, or father, or mother relationship, you all know the stories of stubbornness that is so aggravating, and it creates the inner anger that annoys you. The annoying conversations, right? And that's what separates a lot of families, because you hear it all the time. You hear father and son, mother and daughter, brothers. You can go, it's infinite of the stubbornness of what one believes is right versus wrong. And that gets really heavy and deep and gets into the going down the rabbit holes and all those conversations. But at the same time, I think to round it all up today, the EV agenda has a serious challenge. The stubborn consumers are now on their plate. I think more than ever, that's what's going on. And it's going to be very interesting to see how, moving forward, how long can the manufacturers like Ford and General Motors and the big guys just continue to hope for the best that the stubbornness starts to change. And what creates that, and here's the danger, and I've talked about this, is the world war we're in, which we are. All it takes is a major fossil fuel fiasco. All it takes is for the oil industry to have a major economic impact, hardships from military warfare that creates challenges for the world oil, for world oil to be brought to us and for us to have fuel. If that changes in any radical way, the green agenda's light turns on big time. So it's very dangerous because you always will wonder if this ever played out where major infrastructure was taken out to create the shortages of fossil fuels. You would always be thinking to yourself that the green agenda won the war. Yes. And then the stubbornness by others, and that's the danger in life, is that the stubbornness of others not to budge or move, it then turns into physical confrontation. What have we witnessed in Russia and Ukraine? Stubbornness. Ukraine doesn't want to bend to Russia. What's the end result? A war, physical confrontation. The Palestinians and Israelites, they don't get along. They're stubborn. Each side has their opposing views. And what ends up happening? It turns into a physical confrontation. So in stubbornness, sadly, when stubbornness is pushed to the brink, it creates an explosion. It creates a reaction. Do you react or respond? That's a key word in life. Do you react to things, which is an explosion, or do you respond to things? Responding to things resolves things. Reacting to things creates more havoc and physical harm. It really does. So, and that's, to me, very concerning to me, is it seems like we're on the brink. It's just too quiet. It's just too quiet in this country. We're just on the brink of something happening. And once again, if the oil industry is ever disrupted in a big way, I will think that it came from the stubbornness of those not wanting to follow and toe heel to the green agenda. And the green agenda's goal is to punish those that are being stubborn, to force the hand at will, where you'll have no choice to go to electric vehicles because of what you sit in the gas station for the whole day to get some gas. Your attitude's going to change very quickly about that gas ICE vehicle where you want to have an EV vehicle. Yeah, you got to wonder. It's a dire straits for so-called Ford. It's in so many ways dire straits for Elon Musk. It's dire straits for China. We should all be very concerned. That's it. That's my message for the morning. Stubbornness. I got to go to work. Who wants to do that, right? Yeah, well, you've been stubborn to get up and go to bed, or get out of bed to go to work. Who doesn't know these stories, right? So thanks so much for watching my channel. Share the views, share the ideas, and just once again, just wow. It's election year too. It's just, you gotta wonder. So anyways, God bless. Stay safe. Have a great day.